In this video, the Smart gets, well, it's going to be a very cold start, to be fair, because Squirt hasn't been out for quite a while, so it's going to be a cold start and a bit of a chat about this Smart car in general. How much did I pay for it? What's the running costs? How much is road tax in the UK at least? Let's see if Smart or even Squirt start, shall we? First thing to remember with a Smart, if you've had the car unlocked for, I think it's more than 30 seconds, but you've not started the car, you have to press the unlock button again. That stops the, or should I say, switches off the immobiliser. Right, foot on brake. It's going to be a slow starter motor that you hear, because that's just because, well, the battery's not as good as it was when it was new, of course, but Squirt needed a jump pack. Right, it definitely confirms we need a battery for my Smart, and that's absolutely fine. It's always been quite low. Can't expect it to do wonders when you're not even driving the car, can you? Luckily I got a jump pack. Oh, they go well, don't they, Smarts? That's 90 miles an hour, minus 20. 0 to 30, these cars, I think they surprise the bigger cars. After that, not so much. I purchased this Smart, I think it was March 2021, and I did pay a little bit more than it was probably worth. I say that, but of course, cars are worth, like everything else, they're worth whatever someone's prepared to pay. But for Squirt, it was the condition. Just look at the condition. It was 18,000 miles on the clock. The car back then would have been 16 years old, now 17 years old by my Birmingham mathematics, and spent a lot of its life inside a motorhome, obviously quite a large motorhome. So spending its time in a motorhome not only kept the miles down, of course, because I guess it was only being used by the owners when they're away somewhere in the motorhome, they're visiting local places to where they're parked up or whatever, which is what you tend to do with such cars when they're towed or fitted inside a motorhome. And more importantly for me, it was obviously protected from all that nasty UV damage that cars get by sitting in the sun all the time. So apart from the odd blemish here and there, it looks as good as new. So because of that, I paid, I think it was about £2,500 for the car. Now, of course, well, I say of course, the person selling it, he owns a business. I mean, it's a plant hire business down Gloucester way. They did get it MOT'd before it was collected, and of course it passed with no problems whatsoever. It's just nice to have another 12-month ticket, as we say in the UK. So it cost £2,500, but what does it cost to run? Well, fuel consumption wise, this Smart will easily do 50 to the gallon, and if I stop enjoying that little turbocharger and the noise that the engine makes, I can get it to pretty much 60 miles to the gallon, which I think is good by any standard. It is, remember, a 0.7cc engine with, I think, this is going to test my memory now, I think it's 71, 72 horsepower. I'll put the correct information at the bottom of the video now. Insurance, well, of course, insurance is very dependent on where you live and your age as well. I do get that. But it's about £100 to insure this car for me, as an old. So, again, that's not costing much. Servicing, well, if you followed the channel, you know that this Smart goes to the wonderful Smart-TECNIC, which of course is Ben and Jack in Birmingham, my hometown, as you can probably tell. There are people that travel from all over the country to get to Smart-TECNIC, and I understand why. We filmed a couple of videos at Smart-TECNIC. Those guys know the ins and outs of smart cars, no better place to take it. But it's not overly expensive, and of course with the miles I'm doing, well, this year Squirt will probably only have an oil and filter change. I'll still take it to Smart-Technic though, get them to check it over. I've got a bit of a creak going on at the back of the car, so I'll let them do the oil and filter change. Partly because I like to go there and drink their tea. Partly because, well, you know, they can have a look at this creek or have a listen to this creek, see what they think. And because to change the oil in a smart car, or certainly this 450, there's no drain plug on a 450, so you have to have a machine that sucks the old oil out. So it's worth taking back to Ben just for that. But again, that cost is minimal. And then the road tax. So in the UK we've got a, I'm going to say a fairly complicated tax system, because the government keep liking to mess with it. So you've got different tiers, and it depends on what date the tiers would change at certain years. But then you get additional complications. I think it's in 2001, maybe 2002. They changed all the tax bands in, I think it was March or April. But then some, I think there was at least one tax band F, something like £250 or £360 or whatever it was. Cars that polluted even more than that, up to a certain date in 2006. Remember, this change was 2001 or 2002. Cars that was over that grams up till some date in 2006 were also on that category F or whatever, which was a bit cheaper than the highest tier for those, which I think was 630 odd pound. Anyway, Squirt. Well, Squirt fits in the category of £30 a year. That's less than £1 a week. These really can be economical cars to drive. Now, some will say that they're not reliable, but you know, I'm going to disagree with you. If you think that, I'm sorry. Now, you may be watching this and owned a Smart and had lots of problems. That can happen, but it can happen on any car, of course. But the key for any car, is keeping them serviced. Oil changes are critical, but just keeping them serviced. As long as you look after the car, 9 times out of 10, that car will look after you. Well, if anyone wants to know which booster pack we used to get Squirt started, I've had it a while. There'll be a link in the description below the video. Come and check it out. It certainly saved the day today. I know the gearbox on the Smarts are very Marmite, or certainly the earlier Smarts, because it's basically a manual gearbox with an automated clutch. It's got an actuator that's changing the gears for you, which, if you don't know how to drive a Smart, or you've never driven a Smart before, you can find that it causes the car to lurch forward as the computer kills the accelerator to change the gear, and then obviously lurch back as you grab the next gear and carry on. But if you know how to drive a Smart, or you've been driving them a while, you can drive around that really easily. I just think it's a characteristic, it's a quirk. I like it. You do get the feeling of space in here. You've got all this visibility, glass all round, little narrow A-posts side of the windscreen. It really does mean that you can see very clearly. And of course, although I have seen a smart car, I'm sure I've seen a smart car with parking sensors on the back, the reality is, and you have to take my word for it, everyone, I can reach the back window from where I'm sitting. It's a very short car, it's 2.5 metres long. Now the later Smarts are slightly longer, I think they're about 2,700 mils, so 2.7 metres long, but whatever they are, I'll put it in the bottom of the video now. But this one is 2.5 metres long, so it's a very short car. Let's go. So even though that was in 5th gear and therefore the revs are a bit lower, it's still got from 40 mile an hour to 60 nicely. Not a struggle at all. Mileage check for anyone that's interested. We're about to tick over 19,100 miles. Now we are getting a bit of wind noise today. I'm guessing that probably is coming on camera, but you got to remember the car is quite a tall car. The wind also plays its part if you're on a motorway, for instance, because it's quite tall, and what I'd call slab-sided, the wind can catch it at the side, particularly if you're passing bigger vehicles. It's never a problem, it's just something that you're aware of. but with 6 gears, when it gets into that top gear, it's only doing about 2,500 revs, just under 70 miles an hour. Happy days. Still got that noise coming from the brakes, but it's not causing the wheel to wobble, which is always a good thing. If the wheel's wobbling while I'm braking, that would definitely suggest I've got distorted front discs, but no, it seems quite good. No issues, apart from a hay fever. While I'm on this little twisty country lane, it's probably also a good time to mention you've got a wheel in each corner in a Smart, so they really do go around corners really easily. I just love driving this car. I'm going to leave it there, everyone. Thanks for watching this short video. As always, you know what I'm going to say. If you like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That tells YouTube algorithms it's a good video and more people should watch it. And I think more people should be watching smart cars on the tubes with a U. If you're not subscribed to Live for Drive, or the Live to Drive, should I say, channel, I like a channel called Live for Travel. You see what the brain did there. If you haven't subscribed to the Live to Drive channel, why not click on the link? It'll be somewhere in the top corner in a few seconds. Click on it, it's completely free, and you get to follow me and all the cars that I currently own and may buy in the future. See you soon, have fun. Yeah, you do notice the bumps in a Smart.